Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. This is going to be part 2 of how to become a master of cutting PPF video series that we're doing. So in this video, what we are going to be doing is I'm going to go over some trimming techniques that I like to use. We have this little miniature hood right here that I bought on the internet. I don't remember where. I'll try and find the link and link it in the description below. I got some paint protection film on there, and like I said, I'm going to go over a couple of trimming techniques that I like to use to help you get more comfortable with trimming. If you don't have a little mini hood like this, go to your local scrapyard and just find a body panel, whether it's a hood, a fender, or door that's in decent shape. Bring it to your shop, clean it up, and use that to practice on. If you don't want to do that and you have an older vehicle without paint protection film on there, just find some sections of the vehicle that you don't really care about and practice on there as well too. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Alright, so we're going to go over some trimming techniques that I like to use over here. We got our little mini hood here with paint protection film on it, and I also have a brand new Olfa carbon blade in here. So this blade is super sharp, and this is going to make trimming paint protection film quite easy. So what I'm going to do is I left a little bit of film, roughly about a ½ inch of film off the back end, and I'm going to show you why. I got the paint protection film starting maybe a £1/4 inch from this end over here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bunch of lines, and I'm just going to practice my trimming like that. Just going to keep it super simple. So first things first, hand positioning. So I'm going to start with my hand about just over halfway back on the knife, and I'm going to start on the end. I'm not worried about cutting paint over here. This is just for practice. So I'm going to start here, and very lightly I'm just going to pull the knife back. And so what I'm going for here is I want to hear the squealing sound. Now I'm just pulling straight back. I want to maintain that pressure so I continue to hear that squealing sound. And then when I get to the end, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little bit deeper so I can peel from there later. Then I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to start this all over again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going in some different angles now. Same thing, go for the squealing sound. And I'm going to try and maintain that as I go back and forth in multiple different directions. So the squealing sound is what you're aiming for. When the paint protection film is squealing, that means that you've cut about 3/4 way through the film and you've just scored it. You're not actually touching paint. Anytime that there's not a squealing sound, you're either cutting paint, which is not good, or you're not cutting deep enough to score the film. Okay, we'll do this again. Come back over here. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You just want to try and go for that feel where you hear that squeal. I can start to feel that the knife is getting a little bit dull because I barely scored this over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my blade snapper, snap it off. Now we're good for another cut. Another thing you want to remember is you always want to be pulling the knife. You never want to be pushing it. And now obviously you're thinking, well, you can't push a knife, but you'd be surprised what people out there will try and do when they're in a hurry. There we go, that's perfect. Now we'll do one more and then we'll start peeling the film back. This is the best part about practicing, is that you don't have to worry if you're cutting through it all, because this is just practice and this is just garbage film. I know I said that we were going to be done now. I think I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to do one other technique that I like to do is when you're practicing, pull the film back and practice your corners, like sharp corners. So I'm just going to rotate the hood. I'm going to rotate the hood again. For the sake of keeping this video not super boring, I'm just going to finish this cut off. There we go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do now, I've done a bunch of different cuts. I've gone straight, I've gone crooked, I've done sharp corners. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna come over here. I got all these little flaps that I did. Now, to know if you've been cutting properly, like you heard that squealing sound, what you're going for now when you start to pull the film back is, you can see here as I'm lifting the film up, it's actually lifting this piece of film up over here. That's what you want. Then we know we haven't actually cut through the PPF because it's actually lifting it. So it's just been scored. So there we go. As you can see, that was lifted up there a little bit. It's kind of hard to do this on a desk. There we go. So that's one. Anytime the paint protection film comes apart with zero resistance at all, then you know you've cut too deep. I guess one thing to mention here, when you're actually peeling paint protection film, you don't want to take this film and pull it all the way over and pull like that. You don't want to do that. You actually want to lift up, and you kind of want to pull it towards you and then off to the side a little bit. You can see how the film has been lifted up over there. Here we have an area where I don't think I cut deep enough. Well, I guess I did. Good. Now, I'm sure maybe the camera can pick it up, but there's no knife marks over here where I did this one. So I'm just gonna hurry up and I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna peel this one apart. Film. Good. Now we'll peel the rest of them off. There we go. You can see right over here, I actually cut through. See that cut mark? So this right over here, if you're cutting, good chance you'd have to polish that off of the vehicle. But good thing we're not doing this on a vehicle. We're actually just doing this on some test pieces. So there we go. Now we got ourselves a bit of a cut line right over here. I guess right over here I was a little bit aggressive with my pressure. We got ourselves a nice consistent line all the way through. So pretty sure it was squealing on this one. We'll have to go back and do a replay on the video, but I may have just been going a little bit too deep on that one. Now the last one that we did here will be fun. Now when we get to these corners, you want to be super careful. There we go. So we got ourselves some trim marks over here. Over here we don't have ourselves any, I don't think. But yeah, there's no problem if you got yourself some trim marks that you've cut the paint on your practice piece. I mean, this is why you're practicing your knife skills. You can never practice too much. I always figure, you know, if you're bored, if there's not a lot of vehicles coming in, you know, it's a good time to practice your paint protection film trimming skills. So yeah, there we go. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Those are just some of the different techniques that I like to use when I'm trimming paint protection film, especially when I'm practicing. Practice makes perfect. You definitely want to have very light pressure on the blade. As you can see in some of the cuts that I did on this little mini hood, I didn't cut through at all, and then some I actually did cut through right into the paint. This is why we practice. We practice so we don't make these mistakes on customer vehicles. So I know that I need to be using lighter pressure, but I also need to be going for that squealing sound where I'm scoring the paint protection film. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and stay tuned for the next video where we go over when is the right time to trim paint protection film on a vehicle and why you would need to trim paint protection film on